Welcome to another deep dive, and today things are going to get pretty intense.
Oh, I like the sound of that. Should I be worried?
Well, let's just say we're wading into the world of agentic AI on AWS.
Okay, yeah. That's definitely deep dive territory.
And to guide us through this complex landscape, we've got this fascinating white paper from Deep Research. It's like a blueprint for building and securing these AI agents, especially for companies operating at a massive scale.
Right, think of companies like 369 super flights, thousands of flights, millions of passengers, all needing to be managed efficiently.
Exactly, that's the kind of scale we're talking about here. Now, this white paper, it's dense, I'm not gonna lie.
It is, but thankfully they break down the core concepts using these 3 key diagrams. Really helps visualize things.
Yeah, those diagrams are clutch. So we're going to follow their lead and structure our deep dive the same way. Ready to jump right into diagram 1.
Let's do it.
All right, so diagram 1 is all about agentic AI stores and security challenges. It's like laying out the foundation, the data stores that make these large-scale AI systems even possible.
Like looking under the hood of a high-tech AI-powered control center. For 369 super flights, it'd be managing everything.
And we're not talking just one giant database, right?
Nope. This diagram lays out a whole system of specialized stores, each with a specific purpose.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Break it down for me.
So first up, you've got the agent store. This keeps track of all the different AI agents running. Imagine each agent has its own profile, skills, and roles.
Like a digital directory of AI employees.
Exactly. Then you have the agent prompt store. Think of this as the instruction manual for the agents. Keeps their actions consistent and under control.
Makes sense. And for a company like 369 Superflights, they're pulling data from all sorts of external sources, right?
Oh, absolutely. Weather APIs, real-time flight tracking, you name it. So they'd need an agent tool store to manage which agent can use which tool.
That's smart. Got to keep things organized at that scale. And I'm noticing how security is woven into all of these data stores right from the start.
Yeah, they're not messing around. Like you see that agent audit store?
I do. And it sounds pretty serious.
It is. This logs every single action taken by an agent. What prompt triggered it? What data did it access? What was the outcome? It's all recorded.
Essential for accountability, especially in air travel, where everything's got to be by the book.
Oh, absolutely. It builds trust, too, knowing there's a record of every AI move.
Speaking of trust, this diagram doesn't shy away from the potential risks.
Oh.
Unauthorized access, tampering, even cascading failures.
Yeah, those risks are real. Especially at the scale 369 Superflights operates, a single breach could snowball into massive disruptions. Imagine thousands of flights delayed because an AI went haywire.
Not a good look.
Not at all, but that's why this white paper dives deep into AWS security measures.
Okay, so tell me, how are they tackling these challenges?
They're using a multi-layered approach. First off, fine-grained access control in DynamoDB. Basically making sure only authorized users and agents can even see sensitive data.
So locking down the data vault. What else?
Then they add another layer with encryption using AWS KMS. Without the right decryption keys, the data is useless.
Smart. And is there anything to catch those sneaky attacks that try to slip through the cracks?
For that, they have continuous monitoring. Imagine security systems constantly scanning for anomalies and unusual activity.
So if an AI agent suddenly starts acting out of line, those systems will flag it right away.
Precisely. That way, security teams can respond quickly and minimize any damage.
Okay, that's reassuring, given how much is at stake. All right, ready to move on to diagram 2.
Absolutely. Let's dive into the AI brain.
Sounds good. Diagram 2 is all about agentic AI elements, right?
Yep, this is where we get to see how these agents actually think and make decisions.
Like peeking behind the curtain of a digital mind.
Exactly. We see components like the persona creator, the dialogue interface, even a passive goal creator. These things all work together to build agents that can interact with users, understand their needs, and actually do something about it.
Wait, persona creator?
Yeah.
Are we talking about giving AI personalities now?
In a way, yes. It's about defining how the AI interacts with users. For 369 superflights, you could have an AI agent that helps with rebooking flights.
Okay, I can see where this is going.
The persona creator would make sure this agent comes across as helpful, patient, knowledgeable about all the airline policies, basically making a stressful situation a little less so.
So it's not just about functionality, it's about user experience. I like it. What about the dialogue interface? That seems pretty crucial for, well, any AI that needs to talk to us humans.
Absolutely. Think of it as the translator between the AI and the user. It handles all the speech recognition, natural language processing, making sure the conversation flows smoothly.
So if I'm ranting to the AI about a delayed flight, It can actually understand my frustration.
Exactly. And ideally respond in a way that's both helpful and calming.
That's a skill even some humans haven't mastered. Now, what about the passive goal creator? That sounds like a fancy way of saying the AI figures out what I actually want.
You got it. This component analyzes everything the user says, types, even their clicks. It's all about understanding the underlying intent.
So, if a passenger says, my flight's delayed and I need to catch my connection, the passive goal creator figures out they really just want to get to their final destination.
Precisely. It goes beyond the literal words to grasp the bigger picture.
Smart. But figuring out what I want is one thing. How does the AI actually, make a plan?
That's where the prompt generator steps in. It takes the user's goal, whatever that may be, and crafts a specific prompt that's fed into a large language model.
Okay, so it's translating my desires into something the LLM can understand.
Exactly. And these prompts are carefully designed to give the LLM all the information it needs to generate a plan of action.
So let me guess, the LLM plan generator is up next in this chain.
You know it. And this is where things get really impressive. This component uses some advanced techniques like single path or multi-path planning to come up with a sequence of steps to achieve those goals.
Okay, hold on. Give me an example. Let's stick with our 369 Superflight scenario.
Sure. Say a passenger's flight gets canceled, and they absolutely need to get to their destination. The LLM plan generator kicks in, crunches all the real-time flight data, and generates a plan. This might involve booking them on another airline, arranging ground transportation, maybe even a hotel if needed.
And all while keeping the passenger informed.
Of course. The AI is acting like a personal travel agent, thinking ahead and trying to minimize the disruption.
That's pretty impressive. And what's cool is they can even build in reflection steps for the AI. So it's not just blindly executing a plan. It can pause, analyze progress, even seek feedback if needed.
Right. It's like the AI is doing a self-assessment, making sure it's on the right track. That level of sophistication, we haven't seen that before in AI systems.
Definitely next level stuff. But planning is only half the battle. We need these agents to actually execute those plans, especially when you've got multiple agents working together.
Ah, yes. The coordination problem. That's where the execution engines come into play. Their job is to manage all that complexity, make sure agents are working together smoothly, dividing tasks, resolving conflicts.
It's like we're creating a whole miniature society of AI agents. They're cooperating, debating, working towards a common goal. What are some of the ways they collaborate?
Well, the white paper talks about a few different techniques. Sometimes they have these voting-based or role-based debates where agents present their ideas and collectively decide on the best approach.
So like a mini AI Congress.
Exactly. Imagine AI agents at 369 Superflights debating the best way to reroute passengers during a weather delay. They'd have to consider all the factors, like available flights, passenger connections, minimizing disruptions. It gets complex fast.
Yeah, I can see that. And are they limited to just internal data?
Not at all. They can also use tool invocation. That means they can tap into external tools and APIs to expand their capabilities, like accessing real-time weather data to make smarter decisions about delays.
Okay, so they're not just stuck in their own little AI bubble. They can reach out to the real world.
Exactly. And that's what makes these systems so powerful. It's a network of intelligence, all working together.
All right, my brain is officially full. Ready to move on to diagram 3.
Let's do it. This one's all about how Amazon Bedrock brings everything together.
Okay, diagram 3 is Amazon Bedrock integration and AI workflow patterns. This is where we see how the rubber meets the road. Different types of agents, complex reasoning processes, all designed to tackle specific business tasks.
You got it. And Bedrock is the foundation. It's a powerful platform that provides all the tools and services you need to build and manage these complex AI workflows at scale.
So Bedrock is the glue that holds everything together.
That's one way to put it. Bedrock enables developers to build sophisticated agents using pre-trained models, manage the deployment, and orchestrate all the moving parts.
From what I'm seeing here, Bedrock is also key for implementing those advanced reasoning techniques we talked about earlier, like that chain of thought reasoning.
Absolutely. That's a game changer for transparency. It allows us to trace how the AI arrives at its conclusions. We can see the steps, the logic.
Which is crucial, especially for an industry like air travel, where every decision needs to be explainable. We can't have black box AI making calls that affect passenger safety.
Exactly. We need to understand the why behind the AI's actions. And Bedrock facilitates that.
What else about Bedrock stands out to you?
Well, the ability to use role prompting and meta prompting. With role prompting, you can give an agent a specific expertise. Like, imagine an AI agent for 369 superflights with the role of a baggage handler.
So it's not just a generic AI. It's got specialized knowledge and procedures for managing baggage efficiently.
Precisely. And then meta prompting. That's like giving the AI high-level instructions that guide its overall approach to a problem. For instance, you could tell it to prioritize passenger safety above all else.
So we're not just giving the AI tasks, we're giving it a set of values, guiding principles. That's fascinating. Now, I'm also seeing different types of agents here. Orchestrators, agent of agents. It's like we're building a whole hierarchy of AI, almost like a corporate structure.
That's a good way to think about it. This structure helps manage complexity, ensures the right agents are handling the right tasks.
So you might have an orchestrator agent coordinating all the ground crew activities for a flight arrival. And then you've got specialized business agents for specific tasks, like handling customer service inquiries.
Right. Imagine an AI agent for 369 superflights that can answer passenger questions about flight schedules, baggage policies, or even provide travel tips. And then there are goal-centric agent crews, teams of agents working together to achieve complex objectives.
Wow, it's like we're creating a whole AI workforce. Okay, so we've got all these different agents, specialized roles, and Bedrock orchestrating it all. This is getting seriously complex. And then the white paper throws in this whole other layer.
Oh, yeah. Purpose-built data stores specifically for managing all the unique data created by these multi-agent systems. It's like they're building a new data infrastructure for the age of AI.
A whole new world of data management. That's where we'll pick up next time. We'll dive deep into those AI-enabled data stores and uncover the secrets they hold.
Stay tuned. Things are about to get even more interesting. Welcome back to the deep dive. Last time, we left off talking about these AI-enabled data stores, and you know me, I love a good data deep dive.
Well, you're in luck because we're about to unpack those stores in detail. First up on the list, AI-generated insight store. What's the scoop on this one?
This store is all about transparency. Remember how we talked about those complex reasoning processes these agents use?
Yeah, the chain of thought reasoning and all that.
Well, this store captures all of that. It's not just about what decision the AI made, but the whole path it took to get there. Every step, every piece of data considered.
So for 369 superflights, we could actually see WHY, an AI agent, decided to, say, delay a flight or reroute passengers.
Exactly. It's like having a window into the AI's mind, which is crucial for building trust, especially when these AI decisions have such a big impact.
Absolutely. No more black box AI. We need to understand the how and the why. Okay, that's the insights, but what about the actions the agents actually take? Is there a store for that too?
Oh, you bet. That's the AI task execution store. This one logs every single thing the AI does. Inputs, outputs, time taken, any errors. It's a complete record.
So for 369 superflights, they could track how long it takes an AI agent to process a baggage claim, identify any slowdowns, and make things more efficient.
Precisely. And of course, from a security perspective, this kind of detailed logging is gold.
Yeah, you need that audit trail in case anything suspicious happens. Okay, so we've got insights and actions covered. What about the autonomous agent memory store? How is that different from the short-term and long-term memory we discussed before?
Think of this store as the agent's personal knowledge base. It's where they store information that needs to persist across multiple tasks and interactions.
So it's not just about remembering what happened in the last 5 minutes. It's about building up a deeper understanding over time.
Right. For 369 superflights, this could be things like passengers' frequent flyer details, travel preferences, maybe even dietary restrictions.
So the AI agent gets to know you, becomes your personalized travel assistant.
Exactly. Which can lead to a much better customer experience.
Okay, data storage for personalization, that makes sense. But we're talking about super sensitive information here. We can't forget about security. And there it is, AI Security Event Store. Tell me more about this one.
This store is like our security log, specifically for the AI system. Anytime something happens that could be a security risk, it gets logged here. Unauthorized access attempts, weird API calls, anything that sets off alarm bells.
So it's constantly monitoring for threats, like an AI security guard.
Yep, and it's not just about reacting to threats. The white paper talks a lot about proactive security measures. It's about preventing those incidents from happening in the first place.
Okay, I'm all ears. Let's talk proactive security. What do they recommend?
Well, they're big on the whole zero trust model.
Zero trust, right. We touched on that before. But how do you apply that to AI agents? They're not exactly human users.
That's the challenge. We have to treat these AI agents like they could be compromised, even though they're technically part of our systems. The white paper lays out some key practices for making this happen.
Let's hear them.
First up, intent-based or context-aware checks at API gateway. Basically, every time an agent wants to access an API, it has to go through a rigorous security checkpoint.
So for 369 superflights, this could mean ensuring an AI agent handling check-ins can only access APIs related to passenger data and flight info. Nothing else.
Exactly. We're limiting their reach, making sure they only access what they absolutely need to.
Smart. What's next?
Next, ephemeral and scoped IAM roles. We're talking about giving each agent very specific permissions, and those permissions expire after a certain time.
So it's like a temporary security badge. Access granted only for as long as it's needed.
Precisely. Minimizing the window of opportunity for any bad actors.
Makes sense. What's the third practice?
The third practice is short-lived credentials. This applies when agents need access to really sensitive stuff like databases or secret keys. They get these temporary credentials from AWS Secrets Manager, and they expire quickly.
So even if someone manages to snag those credentials, they're useless pretty quickly.
Exactly. It's all about making things as difficult as possible for attackers. But even with all these precautions, we still need to be prepared for things going wrong. That means strong monitoring and incident response.
Okay, so let's talk about detection and response. What happens when those alarm bells start ringing?
Well, AWS has a whole suite of tools for that, like Guard Duty, which we talked about earlier. It's always on the lookout for malicious activity, using machine learning to spot anything unusual.
So guard duty is our first line of defense, constantly scanning for trouble.
Right. And then you've got AWS CloudTrail, which keeps a detailed log of every API call made. Think of it like a security camera that records everything happening in your AWS environment.
So if there's an incident, we can go back and see exactly what happened, who did what.
Exactly. Forensic Analysis 101. And to help make sense of all that security data, we have AWS Security Hub. It's like mission control for security, bringing together alerts and findings from all these different services.
A single dashboard to monitor the entire security landscape.
Exactly. Gives you a clear view of what's going on. And for those really complex investigations, we have AWS Detective.
Detective. Okay, I'm intrigued.
It helps you piece together all the clues, figure out the root cause of an issue. Imagine it's like an AI detective helping you solve a cyber mystery.
I love it. And to respond quickly to incidents.
That's where AWS Lambda shines. It allows you to automate tasks, like isolating a compromised agent or blocking malicious traffic. It's like having a rapid response team ready to go at a moment's notice.
Okay, so we've got the tools for detection, response, and investigation. But security is only part of the picture. What about ensuring these AI systems are handling data responsibly, complying with regulations, all that good stuff?
Ah, yes. Data governance and compliance. This is where things get even more interesting. Welcome back to the deep dive.
All right, so last time we were starting to get into the nitty-gritty of data governance and compliance for agentic AI, and I'm really curious to see where this goes. It feels like we're building this incredibly powerful system, but with great power comes great responsibility, right?
Absolutely. And AWS has a whole toolkit for managing that responsibility. One of the tools they highlight is AWS Data Zone. It's like a central data library for the entire organization.
Okay, so it's not just about storing data, it's about organizing it, making it accessible, but also controlling who can access what.
Precisely. And with Data Zone, you can set up fine-grained access controls, define policies for how data can be used, and ensure that your AI agents are only accessing the data they absolutely need for their tasks. Think about 369 superflights.
Yeah, they've got mountains of data, passenger info, flight details, crew schedules, maintenance records, the list goes on.
Exactly. Data Zone can help them wrangle all that data, make sense of it, and make sure it's being used responsibly. Plus, it plays a key role in meeting compliance requirements, which is a huge deal for any company, but especially an airline.
So no more data silos, no more confusion about who can access what. Data Zone brings order to the chaos. What other tools are in the AWS governance toolbox?
Well, there's AWS Control Tower. Imagine this as a way to set up and govern your entire AWS environment across multiple accounts, all with built-in security and compliance guardrails.
Okay, so it's like having an automated governance framework that keeps everything in check. How would that work for 369 superflights?
They've got different teams working on different aspects of their AI systems, right? Control Tower can ensure that all those teams are following the same security and compliance rules, preventing any accidental slip-ups that could lead to a breach or a violation.
It's like having a central authority that enforces the rules across the entire AI ecosystem. Consistency is key. especially when you're dealing with sensitive data. Okay, so we've talked a lot about security, governance, and compliance. But what about performance? We're building this massive, complex system. How do we make sure it's running smoothly and efficiently?
Performance optimization. That's where the AI workflow optimization store comes in.
Right, we mentioned that briefly earlier. What's the deal with this store?
It's all about collecting those juicy performance metrics. Think latency, resource usage, success rates, errors. It's like a performance dashboard for your entire agentic AI system.
So for 369 superflights, they could track how long it takes for an AI agent to process a baggage claim, pinpoint any bottlenecks, and fine-tune the process.
Exactly. And this data isn't just for show. The white paper stresses using these insights to make continuous improvements, keeping the system running at peak performance.
It's like having a constant feedback loop, always tweaking and refining things. And what about managing all the different versions of AI models? It seems like that could get messy fast.
You're telling me. But don't worry, AWS has us covered there too. Enter the AI modeled versioning and deployment store. Think of it like a version control system, but specifically for your AI models.
Okay, so it tracks the different versions, their performance benchmarks, makes sure rollouts and rollbacks go smoothly.
Precisely. You don't want to accidentally deploy a buggy AI model that throws your whole system into chaos, right? Especially for 369 superflights, where a single mistake could have a ripple effect across thousands of flights. This store helps mitigate those risks.
Okay, so we've got performance optimization under control. But let's circle back to security for a moment. The white paper talks about continuous monitoring and enforcement of security policies. This isn't a set it and forget it thing, right?
Oh, definitely not. It's an ongoing process, a constant vigilance. We've talked about some of the tools for detection and response, but we also need proactive measures.
Like layers of defense. What else do they recommend?
Well, for web applications that are interacting with these AI agents, like imagine the customer portal for 369 superflights, you'd want to use AWS WEF. That's the web application firewall. It helps protect against all those common web attacks.
So SQL injection, cross-site scripting, all that nasty stuff.
Exactly. WEF is like having a bouncer at the door, keeping the bad guys out. And remember, AWS Lambda, we talked about it for automated responses.
Yeah, our security robot squad.
Well, it can also play a role in proactively enforcing security policies. For example, you could have a Lambda function that automatically checks new code for security vulnerabilities before it's even deployed.
Okay, so we're building security checks into every stage of the process. I like it. But the white paper also emphasizes something called guardrails. What are those?
Think of guardrails as a way to constrain the actions of your AI agents to make sure they're staying within safe and ethical boundaries. You don't want them going off the rails, right?
Especially with these powerful large language models. They can be unpredictable.
Exactly. Tools like NVIDIA NeMo guardrails are designed to prevent that. They help you define rules and constraints for your LLMs, ensuring their outputs align with your policies and values.
So for 369 superflights, they could use guardrails to prevent an AI agent from, say, accidentally revealing sensitive passenger information or booking a flight to a non-existent airport.
Exactly. It's like setting up those bumpers at the bowling alley, keeping things from going completely off track.
Love the analogy. Okay, we've covered monitoring, proactive measures, reactive responses. What about the aftermath of a security incident? How do we ensure we can investigate thoroughly and, meet those pesky compliance requirements?
Well, the white paper is all about creating an audit trail that can't be messed with. They call for immutable logs. This is where services like Amazon S3 Object Lock come in. They let you create logs that are like locked in time. They can't be deleted or altered, even if someone tries to cover their tracks.
So it's like a permanent record, guaranteeing the integrity of the evidence.
Precisely. And for an extra layer of accountability, we can use digital signatures. Think of it like signing off on every action taken by the AI, creating a record that can't be disputed.
Okay, so we're not just blindly trusting the AI. We've got ways to track and verify everything it does. But it's not just about the actions themselves. The white paper talks about agentic history storage. What's the idea behind that?
It's like a detailed biography of the AI's journey. We're not just logging the what, but also the why. What were the agent's goals? What data did it access? How did it reach its decisions?
So it's about understanding the whole context, not just isolated actions.
Right. And all this information helps us troubleshoot issues, identify patterns, and ultimately make the system smarter and more effective over time.
It's like we're giving the AI a memory, a history it can learn from.
Hmm.
And to make sure we're staying on the right side of all those regulations, there's AWS Audit Manager.
Oh, yeah, that's a lifesaver. It helps automate compliance reporting, making sure we can prove we're following the rules.
Okay, so we've got the technical stuff covered, but there's one big question I still have. Where do humans fit into this picture? I mean, we're building these super advanced AI systems. Does that mean humans are out of a job?
Not at all. The white paper emphasizes the importance of what they call human in the loop. It's about recognizing that AI, as powerful as it is, still needs human guidance and oversight.
So it's a collaboration, a partnership. What are some ways humans can stay involved?
Well, humans should be setting the overall goals for the AI, defining the ethical boundaries, reviewing critical decisions, especially those with big consequences. Think about 369 superflights. They can't just let an AI make all the decisions about flight safety.
Right, you still need human pilots, air traffic controllers, and engineers to ensure everything runs smoothly.
Exactly. It's about finding the right balance, leveraging the strengths of both humans and AI. And humans should also be providing feedback to the AI, helping it learn and adapt. Think of it like training a really smart apprentice.
I like that analogy. And of course, there will always be those edge cases, those unexpected situations that the AI might not be prepared for. That's where human judgment and intuition are irreplaceable.
Absolutely. AI can handle the routine, the predictable, but humans are still needed for the creative problem solving, the critical thinking.
So it's not about humans versus AI. It's
Yeah.
about humans and the AI working together to create something greater than either could achieve alone.
Exactly. It's a powerful synergy.
Well, this has been an incredible journey into the world of agentic AI on AWS. We've explored the architecture, the security considerations, the data management challenges, and the vital role of humans in this new landscape. It's a lot to take in.
It is, but it's also incredibly exciting. We're witnessing the birth of a new era of computing, one where intelligent agents are transforming industries and changing the way we live and work.
And as we move forward, it's crucial that we do so responsibly, ethically, and with a focus on human well-being. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time for another exciting exploration into the cutting edge of technology.